If you've spent more than 10 minutes researching ADUs and how much they cost in Los Angeles, you've probably come across a number. Might have been 200, might have been 350, 150, even $50,000. And you're wondering, which one of these is the real number? Here's the honest answer. All of these numbers can be true, and that's exactly the problem. I'm Gil Weissman, founder of Go ADU Construction. We've been designing and building ADUs all across Greater LA for years. And the number one question I get before anything else is, how much is this actually going to cost me? Today, I'm going to answer that question for real. Not with a vague range that doesn't help you, and not with a lowball number designed to get you on a call. I'm going to walk you through what actually drives ADU costs in LA, what you should expect to pay at different price points, and what the things are that can blow your budget if you're not prepared for them. By the end of this video, you'll know more about ADU pricing than most of the homeowners who've already started this process. Let's get into it. Let me start with the range, because it's real and it matters. In Los Angeles right now, a professionally designed and built ADU will typically run you somewhere between $150,000 on the lower end, and that's for a smaller, simpler unit, all the way up to $600,000, $650,000, even more for a larger, fully custom project. Now that's a wide range, but here's what I want you to understand. The reason this range exists isn't because contractors are just making up numbers. It's because ADUs are not a commodity. Every property is different. Every project has different constraints, and every homeowner has different goals. What I want to do today is help you understand which end of that range your project is likely to land on and why. The way I think about ADU pricing, there are four major cost drivers. Get a handle of these four things, and you'll get a much better understanding of what your project's gonna cost before ever talking to a contractor. Those four things are the type of ADU you're building, the size, the site conditions of your specific property, and your finish level. Let's go through each one. The first question that really shapes everything else is, which kind of ADU are you really building? There are three main types. A garage conversion, where you're taking an existing structure and converting it into livable space. An attached ADU, where you're adding on to your existing home, or a detached new construction ADU, a completely separate structure built from the ground up. And in general, they go from least expensive to most expensive in that order. A garage conversion is typically your most affordable path because you're starting with a foundation and four walls already in place. You're adding insulation, drywall, HVAC, plumbing, a kitchen, a bathroom, but you're not starting from scratch. In LA, a well-done garage conversion from a reputable builder might run you anywhere from $150,000 to $250,000, depending on size and finishes. A detached new construction unit, that's a different story. You're pouring a new foundation, you're framing from the ground up, you're running all new utilities. That's where you start to see the numbers north of $350,000, $400,000 and above. Now, the cheapest option isn't always the right option. A garage conversion gets you less square footage and often a less private layout. A detached unit costs more, but adds more value to your property and offers the best separation for a tenant or a family member. We'll talk about value in a minute, but for now, type is cost driver number one. Cost driver number two is size. And this one seems obvious. Bigger costs more, right? But what most people don't realize is that cost per square foot actually tends to go down as a unit gets larger. Here's why. A lot of the expensive stuff in the ADU, the kitchen, the bathroom, the electrical panel, the permits, those costs are relatively fixed. You're paying for them whether your unit is 400 square feet or 800 square feet. So when you spread those fixed costs over more square footage, your cost per square foot goes down. At Go ADU, we build in the range of roughly $375 to $450 per square foot for a quality, professionally built ADU in Greater Los Angeles. That per square foot number can be higher on a smaller unit and lower on a larger one. It also moves based on other factors we're talking about today. What I'd caution you against is finding a builder who quotes you a low per square foot number and assuming that means a low total cost. Always do the math on the full project number. This one is the one that surprises homeowners the most because you can't always see it, and that is site conditions. What is your actual property like to build on? In LA, we deal with a lot of variables that you just don't have to deal with in other parts of the country. Slopes and hillside lots, soil conditions, old, undersized utility connections that need to be upgraded to support a new unit. Properties with limited access, where we literally can't get equipment into the backyard without doing extra work. Fire zones, which require additional construction standards. All of these add cost. Some of them add significant cost. A sloped lot, for example, might require additional grading, retaining walls, and a more complex foundation, easily adding $50,000 to $200,000 to a project compared to a flat lot. This is one of the reasons why I say an ADU quote without a site assessment, it's actually a guess, not a proposal. Any builder worth working with is going to want to look at your property before they give you a real number. If someone quotes you a price from a phone call without ever visiting your property, be cautious. The fourth cost driver is the finishes. And this is actually the one where you have the most control over. The structural stuff, the foundation, the framing, the electrical, the plumbing, that's not really where you have a lot of flexibility. That stuff costs what it costs. And cutting corners there is how you end up with problems down the road. But the finishes, the cabinetry, the countertops, the flooring, the tile, the fixtures, this is where you can move the needle on cost. A builder-grade kitchen versus a high-end kitchen can be a $15,000 to $30,000 difference. Flooring choices, bathroom tile, lighting, it adds up. The good news is that for a rental ADU, you don't need to go high-end to get a great return. Clean, durable, well-designed is what tenants want. You don't need imported Italian marble to rent a unit at top dollar in Los Angeles. For a family member moving in, on the other hand, you might want to invest more in comfort and quality. That's a completely valid choice. Just go in with eyes open about what it adds to the budget. Let's talk about the stuff that doesn't show up in the headline number. The stuff that can blindside a homeowner if they're not looking for it. First, design and permitting costs. In LA, you are required to get permits for an ADU. That process costs money, both in fees paid to the city and in the design and architectural work required to submit those permits. At GoADU, our design-build process handles all of this under one roof, so our clients aren't getting separate invoices from an architect and a contractor and a permit expediter. But if you're piecing it together yourself, budget for this. It's real money. Second, utility upgrades. Older homes in LA often have electrical panels that aren't sized to handle an additional unit. Water and sewer connections may need to be upgraded. These are not optional. They're required by code, and they can add tens of thousands of dollars to a project that nobody warned you about up front. Third, landscaping and side restoration. When we build an ADU, we're going to be digging, grading, running trenches for utilities. When the build is done, we'll restore your backyard to how we found it. But upgrading, adding a patio, putting in pavers or a footpath are not typically part of the ADU's construction contract. If you want improvements, they'll have to be budgeted for separately. And fourth, the one most people really don't think about, carrying costs. If you're financing this project, you're paying interest from the day construction starts. Construction timelines in LA can run 8 to 12 months from permitting to certificate of occupancy. That's real money that's going out before a single dollar of rent comes in. Factor that into your ROI math. Now, I've been talking about costs. and that's important. But cost is only half of the equation. An ADU in LA is one of the best investments that you can make in real estate right now. And I want to give you a clear picture of what your return of investment looks like. On the rental income side, in most LA neighborhoods, a well-built, well-located ADU is going to rent from somewhere between $2,000 and $3,500 a month. Sometimes more depending on the neighborhood and the unit. That's $24,000 to $40,000+ a year in income from a property you already own. On the property value side, studies consistently show that a properly permitted, well-built ADU adds significant value to your home, often in the range of $100,000 or more, depending on size and location. In some LA neighborhoods, the return on the construction cost in added home value alone is close to dollar for dollar. And then there's the intangible value. The reason a lot of our clients build ADUs in the first place. Having a parent close by, giving an adult child a foothold in an impossible housing market, building something that will be on your property, providing value for decades. When you look at the full picture, not just the cost, but what you get for it, an ADU built at the right price point by the right builder is an extraordinary smart use of capital in this market. So let me bring this together for you. The cost of an ADU in Los Angeles is real. It's significant. Anyone who tells you otherwise is either not telling you the full story or they're planning to fill in the gaps later with change orders you didn't see coming. And here's what I know after building ADUs across greater Los Angeles. When the project's designed right, permitted properly, and built to a standard that holds up, it's an investment that makes sense. For most of our clients, it makes a lot of sense. The key is going in with accurate expectations, which is exactly what this video is designed to give you. If you want to know specifically what your ADU project is going to cost in your property, that's what our free consultation is about. We'll look at your lot, understand your goals, and give you a real number, not a range from a YouTube video. The link to book is on the description. Takes about 2 minutes, no obligation, no pressure. And if you want to go deeper on any of the topics we cover today, permitting, financing, choosing the right contractor, I've got videos on all of it. Subscribe so you don't miss them. I'm Gil Weissman with Go ADU Construction. Thanks for watching. And if this helped you, give us a like. It's going to help other people find this video. We'll see you in the next one.